What up? Vader Games in the building. Oh, you know what? I got to make sure my levels are clean. Things are looking nice right now. Vader Games in the building. What it is? Let's get these headphones on. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. First things first, my peoples come first. Vader Games TV, another episode of Why Always Me. I want to thank you all for tuning in live on the replay, on the rerun, however you watch this. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a while. It's been a while. I took a hiatus with the World Cup, with work, with family. I had to make sure I got things right going into this hectic next few weeks and holidays. So I wanted to make sure everything was nice and clean. I'm gonna make sure everything's looking good here. Got my levels. Let me go. I got to do a proper intro. You see the topics here on the screen. This is how I do it, and I'm gonna continue to refine the show. But you see the topics right here. This is what we're gonna go through, and then I think I'm gonna get the opportunity to have a couple, one or two, maybe a few guests on the show. When that does happen, you'll be the first to know, obviously. But before I get to the comments, let me run the proper intro. You know how we got to do. Okay, okay, all right. Let me make sure I adjust that. And I think we're good to go. Oh, huge, huge. I am I out of practice? I'm out of practice with how smooth this needs to be going down. But let me actually go to the comments. And I didn't tweet out that I'm live. Maybe I'll do that as well. Let me put these my people on the screen. What it do? What it do, Danny? Daniel in the building. Yo, fellas, thanks for tuning in. I got a lot to talk about, and I don't want to ramble. I don't want to go on. I want to be really concise and have a fantastic conversation and go through these topics that you see there on the screen. And maybe I can actually try and do this live as well. I'm gonna try and clean that up because I don't like where that is. It's a little too high, but we'll make it work. Um, okay, the World Cup. And you know what? Before I talk about the World Cup, I'm actually going to go in proper order. Let me go in proper order. Let me adjust this here. All right. This Thursday, League Cup, City versus Liverpool. If you saw the thumbnail, you saw what the majority of this show is going to be about, or the conversation. But we got the League Cup coming up. City versus Liverpool. Liverpool defending champs from last season. Defending champs, and looking at their season right now, still in Champions League. I mean, outside of their normal reach with regards to challenging for the league, but can't dismiss them. And they got the League Cup, they have the FA Cup as defending champs. Now, City versus Liverpool, Liverpool being the defending League Cup champs is really important. It's really important to me. Okay. And I think it's going to be really important to many, many City fans. And I believe Liverpool themselves, they should be looking at wanting to defend. They should be looking at wanting to defend this League Cup, right? But this hits right after the World Cup. And we had the conversation going into the World Cup with how would the players come back? How many kilometers would the players be logging on those legs? How important would they be for their country? How far would they go within the tournament? We had all of those ideas and thoughts and speculations and what it might mean with them coming back to the league and coming back to this League World Cup match. Hated the announcement. I'll be real with you. I hated the announcement that we were going to be facing Liverpool this early within the competition. But maybe it's a blessing in disguise. maybe it's a blessing in disguise that we're going to get into. Um, I'm going to change this title actually because I think it's more. This is more important. City's playing against Liverpool, the parading League Cup champs. And the reason why I want to make that distinction is because they had a parade after winning the League Cup and FA Cup. They're defending champs of those two cups. We as City need to go out and take it back. We need to take it back. We've seen over the past years how much Pep, from a psychological standpoint, right? The mentality in terms of building off winning and to play strong within this cup, to play well, put out a good performance, not only bodes well for the continued pursuit to win it, but also to remain in good form within the league, right? Let me shout out my guy Edison in the building. What it do? Edison, I'm not sure if you're still on what platform you're on, whether it's PS4, PS5, but the crew, the IEGA crew, are looking to link up on the 23rd, right? So, I mean, we'll talk offline, but if you're free, the guys, or even if you just want to chat with the guys in the party chat, let me know. We'll try to make something happen. I don't think there's been an official announcement yet, but I want to shout that out to you. Daniel goes, I hope you continue studying fluent UCL during the World Cup, Vader. We need that chance. Hey, Daniel, trust me. Trust me. I don't have the books here on my desk right now. I don't have them on my desk, but I have. I have been putting a lot of thought, a lot of thinking, studying, and actually just analyzing the players that we have and obviously the opponents that we may face and what that really means. But 100%, Edison also goes, EFL FA Cup should not have a parade. Hey, Edison. Hey, who are we? Who are we to tell a club what they should have a parade for or not have a parade for? Who are we to do that? If Liverpool want to win the League Cup, win the FA Cup, and have a parade for it, let them be. Don't judge. Don't judge. It's for them to have, right? We don't police celebrations over here, right? There's no celebration policing. Okay. Mancunian Way goes, the legend is back, won't be long, mate. Hey, that is one of the guests that I was hoping to get on the show. Would look to make it possible. If not, no worries. But thank you, Martin, for being a part of it, or looking to be a part of it, and definitely being in the comments. But City versus Liverpool, the parading League Cup champs, is really important right now. Coming back out of this World Cup, and I'm going to talk about the World Cup later in the show. But you got to start back strong. You got to start back in winning ways. You got to flex your dominance. You got to flex the form that you want to have and remain. And I don't want any type of second guessing, any type of hindsight being like, oh, we should have played a stronger team, da da da. I want our best 11 that we have available, and that's really tricky. I'm hoping to maybe the guest that can be on the show later on. I'm hoping to have the conversation with who may be available for this League Cup match, because a lot of players have not returned, had not returned back to camp, back to the club since leaving for the World Cup. Pep's given them the rest, rightfully so. These players need their rest. As this show continues on, and obviously I'm not going to say an alter ego because I am who I am, but I'm under a different name. My given name, my birth name is not Vader. Okay, my full name is not Vader Games, but in the non YouTube life, the non social media life, I know what the pressure is. I know how taxing it can be to represent your country. And I think Pep's doing the absolute right thing for those players that were asked or a lot that was demanded of them for their country, a lot that played late within that tournament and not only needed rest, but two, knowing that the players are going to be coming back and it's going to be a hectic schedule with regards to being away from family or managing time away from family. I think Pep's doing the right thing with giving those players that time to rest because they're going to come back battery pack, fully charged and ready to attack the season. So I like what he's doing. I see one of my guests in the background. I'm going to just finish this thought before I do the proper intro. Um, but I think the best 11 that we have needs to be played. I'm not going to question Pep with how he chooses to rest players or give them the time to recover based off of the World Cup. But selfishly, as a City fan, I want my players back. I want them back playing. I love what they do on that pitch, and I want to see more of it. I've been shoot this World Cup. How long has this World Cup been? A month. We've been without them for a month, and yeah, we got a little bit of football recently, mind you, it was a friendly, but we've been without it, and I need them back. Let me go to these comments real quick. Man Kunue goes, parade for any trophies for me won't always be this way. Hey, you celebrate a trophy. You celebrate a trophy. Now, celebrating having a parade through the city, maybe the length of the parade, all of the extras. I don't know. You obviously don't celebrate. You obviously don't celebrate maybe winning the league to winning the League Cup the same way. I don't. I don't know. That's my thought. We can have the combo, but that's my thought. Edison goes, how do you feel about KDB with losers mentality comments in Belgium? Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna address this, and then I'm gonna do the proper intro for my man that's backstage right now. But let me say this, Edison, and I'm not gonna be political correct or any of that stuff. The man's quotes were his quotes, but I don't think it reflects a loser mentality. I think it reflects harsh reality and harsh truth. But I can, I myself can tell you that the players we have are old. Our chances at winning aren't the best. Does that mean that I am not giving my all? That does that mean that my older players are not giving it their all? No, no. It's just that in with regards to accuracy, what these players mean in terms of what can be expected of them and what can be expected and what they actually do can be two different things. I think KDB was just brutally honest. He's just brutally honest. He's looking. He saw Hazard with his pot belly and looking like he's 35 plus years old, but he's only a 30-year-old. I believe he's younger than KDB. He looked at the obviously not in great form health wise physically. He looked at Lukaku, and Lukaku's not old by any stretch of the imagination, but he looked at Lukaku and he's like, nah, he's not in form. I'm looking around, my defenders are all old as well. We're not doing this. Especially when you look at the landscape and you see the series of other clubs that are youthful, young, hungry, and in shape, right? So I think KDB was just brutally honest, and it came back to bite him, unfortunately. But to point out something accurately and then believe that because you're saying that does not mean that you have a killer mentality, I think goes the wrong way. Let me also point this out. Mancunian way goes, you always play in the here and now. Yeah, 100%. You always play for now. You play to win. You celebrate the now. I agree. I agree. Daniel goes, I love KDB, and I think he was right with his quote. Yeah, I agree. I think his quote was just brutally honest, but he shouldn't have done that. That's not what you do when you try to go through. I agree. I myself would not have said it. I would not have put those quotes out. I would have done that privately. I wouldn't have put that out for the world to know. But there's also there's also the calling out of players that happens in this day and age, whether it's through media, whether it's through social media. You have those things, and then between us, you still fight, you still battle, you still try to counter what someone says about you or prove them wrong, right? I believe I forget the year, but didn't Jose Mourinho talk poorly about Eto, calling him an old man or his attackers being old. And Eto had the classic celebration where he acted like he was on a cane, or and stumbled to walk at the corner flag after scoring, right? So there's some that take it on like, oh, you're talking mess about me, you're talking junk about me. Let me show you otherwise. So there's many ways of looking at it. I'm gonna do this the the Manchester City way, the family that I often talk about, my peeps. When I say first things first, my peeps come first. Not only are my peeps you guys within the comments and tune in and watch my show live and watch it on the rerun and comment live and comment on the rerun, but it's also the people that I have the opportunity to create content with, to talk football with, and more specifically to talk City with and get their unique perspectives. Two of them that I'm about to introduce are two men that pursue their coaching credentials. One international fan, one local fan, two with incredible wisdom and always have the time to kind of share with me their perspective and are very generous with their time, inviting me to interact with them as well. For me to be able to be back streaming live, it's been a minute, and to have them to be able to be on the show is absolutely amazing. You're going to be able to know their voices. I don't believe they're going to be on camera, but you're going to know their voices. But I'm going to give her a proper intro. The first, and he doesn't need an introduction, but he deserves one, is Carl Pitch Points. You guys know him as Gundalorian. Thanks for being on the show today, Gundo. How you doing, man?
Good time, long time no see. Great to
Okay,
be on the
this
show.
this happened last time. I messed this up. Let me fix this. Let me 1 second. I know what I got to do. This time I know how to fix it. 1 second, Gundo.
Yeah,
Um, all right. I think I'm clear.
yeah.
Are you guys hearing him? Please let me know in the comments.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
You guys,
Can you hear me?
Gundo, try that again. Let me hear you say something.
Can you hear me? Can you
Check
hear
one,
me?
two.
I can hear
Damn
you.
it. I messed something up. 1 second. Damn.
I can
Settings,
hear you loud and clear, man.
audio.
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. This is Amateur Hour by Vader Games. See, it's been a while, and my sound is all off. You guys can hear Carl. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Um, but I can't. And why is that? Okay.
I can hear you clearly.
I'm gonna figure this out, Carl.
I
Sorry.
can hear you.
Bear
I,
with me, viewers. You're probably hearing him. I'm not. So, Carl, you can continue talking while I try to fix this.
to hear what I talk about, goodness me, I'm still recovering from the World Cup. My voice is just coming back after the king was crowned in Doha, Qatar. Um, Absolutely magnificent final, best final I've seen. I've watched a few World Cups in my lifetime.
I hear you loud and clear now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about the World Cup and what
Oh
you
my
were able to witness.
God. What a final. What a final. I had the pleasure of enjoying it with my friends. We're at a bar, a restaurant. A friend of mine owns a restaurant. And so we were there, about 20, 30 of us were there.
Hmm.
Some French fans, some, Argentina fans, Messi fans. It was glorious. Champagne was flowing, food was flowing,
Oh, it
coffee,
was one of those nights. Nice.
eggs,
Nice.
corned beef stew, you name it, pancakes. It was magnificent. Hennessy, it was a
Awesome.
glorious. And then the best part about the final was that he went to extra time and went to penalties. So we got
Yeah.
to extend the enjoyment for almost 2 hours.
Yeah. It was highs and lows. The energy, the
Oh
tension was
my God.
constant. You know what? And let's have the conversation all inclusive. I'm gonna do another proper intro. When I say first things first, my peeps come first, and another man always included with regards to my peeps is Martin. Always shows love, just like Gundo. The content that they put out, they're always including the family. And when I have a chance to have them involved, they're always make time So let's introduce Martin, the Mancunian way. How you doing, man?
Good evening. The legend returns. That is Vader.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. It's been long overdue. I was trying to make sure I got things right because I knew the holiday season was going to be so hectic and obviously managing things with work and family, I had to make a little changes. But I'm happy to be back. Gundaloran was just telling us about how he watched that final, and just for all clarity, I'm not sure if Gundaloran shared that with you, but for those of you over in the UK across the pond, you're enjoying that match in the evening. That's an evening experience where you're not necessarily worrying about the start of your day or the rest of your day. And obviously, you can enjoy things differently. Gundo talking about the champagne was flowing and things of that nature. Yeah, it's early afternoon, so rightfully so, or late morning, late morning. Um, but it was an absolute magical, magical World Cup for me. And I want to hear your point, Martin, because you heard what Carl was sharing, and then I'll share mine.
Yeah, it was a fantastic final. It was absolutely enthralling. It was end to end. That's how a final is. You don't get many World Cup finals like that. They're either a bit of a formality or they're a bit of a bore fest. You don't tend to get one that exciting. The two teams just going at it. You don't always get that. Then again, you don't always get Mbappe and Messi in the same pitch at the same time, unless you're watching PSG. But you don't tend to
Right.
get that in the final. Um, it, there wasn't obviously the big thing over in the UK. There wasn't. England went out, and then the World Cup sort of died for everyone a little bit over here. You know,
Yeah.
everyone, as soon as England went out, everyone refocused back to City again.
Yeah.
Generally, over
Yeah.
here,
I
everyone
can
back to
understand
the
the
Premier
vibes.
League.
I can understand the change in vibes, and mind you, very different. Gunalorian USA made it to the knockouts. You know, Canada unfortunately were out within the groups, but there is a you know, you feel a little deflated when your country is no longer playing. But when I look at that World Cup, and it goes from it goes from having a horse in the race to then just enjoying the event. And I kid you not, the house was split with regards to who wanted who to win. And that made it so much more enjoyable because there were oohs and ahs for everything that was happening on that pitch. And what Gundo just said, for it to be extended to penalty shots, it's then the enjoyment lasted a lot longer than what was expected. And then it's a tough pill to swallow sometimes when you see how the pressure affects certain players with regards to penalty shots. But I love that aspect of it. I love that learning moment that we see from some athletes, especially with the technology these days, with the cameras that are able to zoom in not only on the keeper's face but the penalty taker's face, and you're trying to read how confident they are, how nervous they are, and then you look at how they strike the ball. It's the drama is unmatched, and that's why I want to change this title here. And I'll throw this to the two of you. I'll throw this to you, Gundo. There's so much speculation with the World Cup going from 4 years to 3 years. We already hear that they're going to extend the number of teams or countries that are going to be playing within the tournament, and I don't so much have a gripe with that, but I do cringe. I do have this like I don't like where this is going if it's going to be a competition that happens more often than every 4 years. I think there's a sacredness that should remain with the World Cup. What do you think of that?
I mean, for me, I don't. You know me, I'm flexible, man. Make it 3 years, we'll watch it. Make it 4 years, we'll watch it. Right? I just want to watch games, bro. I just, I mean, the feeling I felt. You have to understand that, when I'm watching the game here, I'm watching it with my family, I'm watching
Mhm.
with my 6-year-old kid. I'm creating memories with him, right? Watching the World Cup with him. There are people right now who are in the world who are not going to see the next World Cup. Data.
Mhm.
They won't be alive to watch it. We missed that moment. And for
Mhm.
me, it's about the enjoyment of the game that we all love across the whole world. Football is a game that's spoken by everyone on the globe. It crosses religion, it crosses languages, it crosses race, crosses creed, sexuality, it crosses everything.
Hmm.
It's the gift of the gods to humanity, in my opinion, and I just want to enjoy every moment. Now, regarding 3 or 4 years, I don't mind. I really don't mind.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. 2 years is too much. Every 2 years is too much, but 3 years I can live with that.
Yeah. What about you, Martin? I mean, I think there's obviously a lot of tweaks and changes that kind of happen with some decision makers as they look at numbers and not only just to make things more profitable, but maybe they just realize that there's a demand for it. What do you think of the World Cup being not a 4 year cycle, but a potential 3 year cycle? Uh
Although,
oh.
I mean, uh, you see, the problem is obviously in Europe we have the Euros as well. So every 2 years we
Hmm.
have a tournament every 2 years. Same as like in America they have the what's it called again? Carl, remind me what's it called over there that they have every 2 years in between a
Uh,
World Cup.
well, they have the Gold Cup stuff, and they also, but in Africa they
You mean
have like
Concaf?
the Copa.
Yeah, well, you have your AFCON and all that. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it's like I know FIFA come up with this FIFA um, World Club Championship. Listen, from a fan's point of view, it's amazing to watch football. I tend to look at it from a player's point of view as well. Are we not starting to flog them like animals a little bit here? They do need rest. They
Mm.
do need rest, and they're not robots.
Yeah.
They're not robots.
Before I throw this,
And
before I yeah, go ahead, Martin. Sorry.
that's the only. I'm looking at it from a player's point of view of you can dilute competitions too much by making too much of it. A player's going to be in the prime when they keep going to all these competitions. I don't know,
Hmm.
and I just think too much football can be a bad thing to the players. We're talking top athletes, and they need rest. They need family time rest. They need everything rest. They do need that time.
I'm gonna introduce a very a very popular man, a very interesting man that had to, and I didn't realize this, but had to make some adjustments with regards to his Twitter account. But he has some fantastic spaces. He creates some great opportunities for conversations around football, not just Manchester City. I'm going to introduce my man Adam into the building. Thanks for joining the show today, Adam. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing very well today.
Awesome, awesome. It's been a minute, and I'm not sure how much of the convo you heard, but the World Cup was obviously loved by many of us. That experience was incredible. There was obviously questions before the tournament even started on how it would be, how great of a show would be, how it would be perceived, how people would enjoy it there on the ground, and things of that nature. And I think many expectations were exceeded. I'm going to throw this to you, Adam, because I'm curious to your point of view. And I was saying this earlier within my show. There's Vader, and then there's the real person that's not on the social media apps. My experience does have a connection with regards to international sport, more so with regards to the Olympics. And I close my eyes and I often think about, like, what would the Olympics be if it was every 3 years, or like if it wasn't the 4 year cycle, if it wasn't kind of like the leap year. If you know, like, the Olympics always fall on the leap year, right? Um, so if it happened more frequently, and the thing that the thing that I get, and I get this often from my friends, they're like, "Dude, you're so old school, or why are you trying to be such a purist, or what's with you resisting change?" I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with any of that. It's often like, it's kind of just looking at how things have been perceived or kind of cherished, and wrongfully or rightfully, I kind of look at, well, if it happens more often, is it still cherished the same? Like, the way we celebrate New Year's, would we celebrate it the way we do if it happened every month, right? Or birthdays, or now when we look at the World Cup, do you think, Adam, your heart, your football battery, would you be able to manage a World Cup experience less than every 4 years? Could your heart take it?
To be honest with you, I would say no, but I would have to see it first before I make a judgment. Because that's what FIFA are trying to, in a sense, FIFA are trying to push for to do it
Yeah.
every 2 years. But I would have to see it within my eyes, with my two eyes first, to see whether and make a bigger picture rather than making a judgment of it quickly.
Hmm. Yeah, I hear that point. And a man that wants to see it before causing judgment, I agree and hear you on that one. And yeah, I get a little too old school with how I try to protect some of these things. But I love the show that they put on. The comment that I just put up on screen, and I'm actually say it out loud. Daniel goes, "This World Cup," and there was a funny tweet out there that I'm going to throw to after and hear Martin's point. But it was the lowest crime rate at a World Cup because of no alcohol. Fantastic from Qatar. I actually saw this tweet. I don't know how real it is, Martin. I don't know if this came across your timeline, but I saw a tweet that said this was actually the first World Cup that didn't have an English fan arrested. Hello?
you put me in the spot there, aren't you?
Yeah, so this was the first one that they didn't have. So I'm not making a correlation with any of it, but I thought it was a playful thing to kind of throw out there. But
Well, it's the media rhetoric in it that England. This is why apparently we don't get the World Cup, because they're scared of the behaviour and everything else. And see, I go back to the Euro '96, and it was an absolute fantastic spectacle tournament. Everything about Euro '96 was out of this world. Gascoigne in his pomp, Shearer in his pomp, Sheringham. Scotland were there. It was just a magnificent tournament for me. The Euro '96. It really was. It was. I was even at one of the games as a kid with my dad, and it was just a spectacle to behold. It really was. Like I said, there are issues with fans around the world with alcohol everywhere, but England gets this brush that we are the worst and we are this and we're that. And as an Englishman, it probably isn't fair, because then you're going down the labelling road. Every country can have a label thrown at them.
Martin,
doesn't mean it's correct.
Yeah, you don't have to talk long about any of us on the panel understanding stereotypes.
No, I don't mean it. Just annoys me in terms of how the media behave with it.
Yeah,
it's just disgusting. And listen, I'll be honest with you, I've not seen a lot on Twitter because I'm trying to avoid Twitter as much as I possibly can at the moment.
I can't blame you, Martin.
I've recently did and it's a practice I actually often did over the holiday break, but because of the World Cup and kind of time, I recently do kind of like a filtering of my social apps and things of that nature. Like, I'll mute certain content that I'm realizing, what, this slant or this perspective I don't vibe with. I don't need this energy and things of that nature. And I found it to be pretty helpful, as opposed to abandoning the app completely. But and I know you don't, because obviously, and thank you so much for today with regards to liking and retweeting what I posted earlier. Daniel has a comment, and he goes, and England fans also stormed Wembley before the final. Did they?
Yeah, it wasn't TV yet. It was. They did. It was on Twitter.
It also happened at the Champions League final, though. That's what I mean. It happens. That can happen.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
That's true.
You should go to Argentina. You go to Argentina, see games in Argentina, and you'd run away.
Do you know what the funny thing is? The one thing that we all went crazy about Qatar, about the labeling and the everything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's and this is not at anybody. This is just general perspective of it is. But then we forget sometimes that we do it with other countries and other games. It's just done in a different slant, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. There's different points that get accentuated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do blame social media for that. I do blame social media. You know, I completely blame it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk City Liverpool, but there's been a meeting this week, and that was all done because of social media, because of all the nastiness.
Yeah, let's get into it, because actually it was the first topic. I talked briefly with it, and those that were commenting live comments in the chat, thank you so much. But let me put this back on screen. And again, was it tongue in cheek? Not so much. I just want to be accurate with it, because my first title was City versus Liverpool, defending League Cup champs, and then I actually had to think about it, and I think it's more fitting to actually say City versus Liverpool, parading League Cup champs. They are defending, but they also had a parade for the League Cup, and the reason why I wanted to emphasize that point is because it is important. This matchup, it's against Liverpool, is important. I want to get your takes. I'm going to throw this to Adam first. But I first said this is a cup, and where it falls within the schedule, coming right back from the World Cup. We know Pep wants the winning mentality, winning form. He wants the momentum with regards to what we do in this cup, as well as the season, the league. I want a good showing. When you saw, Adam, when you saw that we were matched up against Liverpool several weeks back, what was your thought with regards to what you wanted City to do in this matchup?
You know what it was? Like me and Gundogan have been saying it. It seems to be that when Pep tends to play Liverpool, he tends to overthink things. All we want is just simplify stuff. Like, you see how Leeds played against Liverpool? Just stick to what you know was best, what's gotten you, and play your best players and play your best football that you know. Yes, you don't give too much respect to Liverpool. Give them the respect that they deserve. Yes, but with the issue with Pep, sometimes he lets his fear and his respect for Liverpool get the better of him. In some cases, he somewhat, yeah. Yeah, just like, it's not like he's afraid or what, or he just has too much respect for Liverpool. You got to put that aside and do what's best for the thing, and not overthink things. Just simplify stuff. If you know that this player ain't gonna be good for this type of game, don't start him.
Okay. So Adam was slick with that. Adam says, you know what? Me and Gundo, we've talked about this. We've shared our points of view. Gundo, I'm gonna throw this to you. So Pep has a tendency, and we all agree, he has a tendency to overthink. What do you, again, what I'm not gonna have you think for Pep, I'm gonna have you think for you. What would you do coming back from the World Cup? And obviously, we don't know who's available as of yet.
Yeah.
But what would you do going to this game?
I'm playing all the kids. Get rid of the cup. Move on.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
It's not even a debate for me.
So hold on. Sorry. First and foremost, you as the coach, you're still going to develop your best winning game plan, but personnel, you're saying you're going to play the kids?
I'm playing the kids. We don't need this. Not this year. If you look at the schedule for January and February, what we have to play, and you want to play a quarterfinal in the League Cup, play the FA Cup, play the semifinal within that 6-week period, and then start the Champions League, and you're 5 points beyond Arsenal. No, something has to give. Something has to give. We don't need this. Let Liverpool or United get it. They won't get it. For me, this is the year we have to win the UCL. I told you from day one, Adam and Martin, it's in my bones. I feel it this year. I feel it like nothing else. I've never felt like this before. I predicted that Messi and Argentina were going to win the World Cup. I predicted it. And here we are with Lionel Messi winning the World Cup.
Okay, let me challenge you, Carl. Hold on. Gundo, apologies. So if I hear you correctly, the emphasis is league and UCL.
It's UCL and league, that order.
UCL and league.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're playing I'm never going to refer to them as second teamers or weaker players or whatever. But we're playing our key 11 in the UCL, and then we're
I'm
we're
saying start the game against Liverpool with the kids and bring in De Bruyne to get game time, let him warm up, get back into fitness. But the priority is not to start all the first teamers against Liverpool. No, not for me. I want that team firing when we have to play Chelsea on the 5th, when we have to go to play Leipzig in February. I want them to be ready and focused on what we need to do. Laser focus. I don't want the distraction of trying to win every single game, every single competition, because it's not going to happen. Liverpool tried it. We tried it. It didn't work out. Laser focus your eye on what we need to do. The league and the Champions League.
Okay, this is a great. This is actually this is creating homework for me because I'm actually going to want to look at the Champions League and league schedule with regards to where the dates fall.
Take a look at it. Go take a look.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that, and as I do, Martin,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have you think like Pep. I'm not gonna have you think like Carl. What would be your coaching decision? What 11 are you playing going into this League Cup?
My best 11.
Best 11 to play on this upcoming Thursday.
Yeah, whichever best 11 we can get out, we should play.
Okay.
And there's two reasons behind it. I know Carl's thinking of trying the UCL. The Champions League doesn't come back till February. The second leg's on March the 15th. So I think the Carabao Cup final's even before that. So you could have a trophy under your belt before you've even walked into the Champions League. This is why I love the Carabao Cup, because it gives you that boost. It gives you that winning mentality going in. Another reason is we lost our last game against Brentford. I don't want to lose 2 in a row going into Ellen Road. I don't want to beat two defeats on the bounce going into Leeds United away on the 28th. The Leeds United are not going to be easy, especially at Ellen Road. For, their first home game back, that is going to be a cauldron to go into. We don't know how our players are going to be. To me, like I said in your comments, I'm one of these at the here and now. Win what you can now. We played this trick last year of, we'll sort of prioritise the Champions League for the FA Cup, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
We lost the FA Cup final. We went and we lost in the semi-final of Champions League or whenever it was. So, it's a gamble. It is a gamble. You can play that game and come away with nothing.
It's interesting. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, I hear you, Martin. And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just where I'm at this point in time, right? Where I get it. Yes, the League Cup is important. We like it. It's a sweet Carabao. I get that, right? Yes, the FA Cup is traditional, it's history. I get that. At the end of the day, I would sacrifice every single trophy to win the UCL this year. I would. You do not get Erling Haaland to win another league. Alvarez just won the World Cup. You're going to have him just win an FA Cup and the Carabao Cup and come second in the league for what? No. This is the year. And we have to put the expectation, the demand, the feeling, the vibe, the ill feeling of this is what we want and we're going to go for it. If not, it's pointless. It is pointless. It is just, I just feel it in my bones. This is our year.
I hear that point, and this might not show up well as I'm doing the adjustment on screen. And I hear your point. Okay, and the point's valid because playing your strongest or making sure that your strongest are available to play at their best for Champions League and within the league is really important. And I think that was key. If you had said strictly with the Champions League, then I mean there would be fault in that argument because we could again play a strong 11 and make sure that they were quote unquote rested and rotated going into the Champions League. But the fact that the emphasis was on Champions League and league then
I'll make one more point. So this always happens. So every year I talk about this a lot, right? And people don't pay attention. And I always say that at some point in time, there will be a decision to make. When was the last time a team in the same season has won both the Champions League and the Premier League? When was the last time?
not since United. Not since United.
How many years ago was that?
What was that? 2000.
2008.
Okay, so what we're talking about, maybe 14 years
14,
ago?
yeah.
Yeah, roughly there. Around
And
14.
before then, who has won it? And who else has done it?
Nobody else, I don't think so.
Right. So at some point, this discussion is going to happen again.
But back on that now, how many teams have won 3 on the bounce?
Right now, give me the UCL over 3 on the bounce.
All right.
No.
Oh,
Way.
Wait, later. I've got a question.
Hold on. No, I got to do this. Because I do my best to put the topics on the screen.
Yeah, stay to your mic. We need to hear you. We can't hear you well later.
Okay, sorry.
There we go.
I do my best to put the topics on the screen to kind of have a flow to the show, but I know that Gundo and forsake the three-peat for the Champions League is going to be a totally different combo. Those in the chat, let me know if we should have it right now, or if we should.
It's a good discussion. I mean, I love Martin. Martin and I. Guys out there, see, when you see Martin and I talk on Twitter, we have a special relationship. Him and I. Oh, we talk all the time. I talked to him 2 days ago. With 2 a.m. or something crazy, Martin.
Yeah. Yep.
So we have different philosophies and how we see things, but we love the club, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just my background, maybe it's because I just feel like this team deserves that UCL, right? They deserve to. They're good enough to win it, and I just want us to get over the line. Now, if we can't win it, he has to give me a three-peat. I'll take that every day. If Arsenal win the league and we win the Champions League, everybody's happy. Arteta's happy. We're happy. Jesus is happy. Erling Haaland is absolutely happy. But I don't know, man. Maybe Adam will be the voice of reason between all of us.
The only thing you got to remember about Haaland is he wants, like his dad's already said, he wants to win every single league in Europe.
Yeah.
So Premier League to Haaland still majorly important.
That's true.
No, what I was gonna say, I was gonna play devil's advocate. Let's say hypothetically, potentially on Thursday when we do play Liverpool, that we do lose, we get kicked out. But what we do is that we win the FA Cup, the Premier League, and the Champions League. I would take that any day over that somewhat would soften the blow, or not even. I'll pretty much not give a crap. I wouldn't care about the game against Liverpool. Is say we had that scenario where we've won the FA Cup, Premier League, and the Champions League. We won all 3 of those trophies. Later, you're on me.
Sorry, go on, Bayer.
So this is where I struggle. This is where I struggle. And I'll admittedly so. I'll be totally honest. Because the reward doesn't happen until May, I have a really difficult time. I have a difficult time passing on winning now. You know what I mean? Like, so the fact that we play, we play December 22nd against Liverpool it's not even a final, but it's leading to that, to say, you know what, that can go away, or the payoff that happens in May is.
I hear you, Vader. I guess my perspective is just, to me, I just don't feel anything for the Carabao Cup right now. I just don't feel. There's no excitement. There's no I just don't feel it. Maybe it's maybe that's what it is.
The thing is, the Carabao Cup doesn't actually affect the Champions League.
I know, Martin.
Now, if you said the FA Cup, now that's a different conversation, because the FA Cup does affect the Champions League.
Yeah,
the Carabao Cup doesn't, because it's virtually done by the time we hit the Champions League again anyway.
But it may affect the league because we have to have extra games in January and February. Or we have
Yeah,
very
no,
much,
of course it will. Now, the thing is for me, now listen, this is where we get, we love these debates because you get a different perspective. And maybe it's me being the Englishman and being the Mancunian sat there still in the stadium on Champions League night when we boo the anthem out the stadium. That is just, and people laugh at me and go, why don't you want it? And it's just, I'm not going to go down my old rhetoric of the Champions League because everyone's heard it, been there. I'm not going to keep repeating myself. It's just for me to get that 3P that only Ferguson has done. You got to remember, this is Ferguson. This is United. This is the enemy. This is the arch enemy.
See, I hear you.
Sorry, we have. I am sick to death of walking around streets and going into work and having United fans tell me that we've never done a 3P, we've never done this, we've never done that.
Martin, I guarantee you, if you don't do the 3P and you win the UEFA Champions League, no one's talking to you. I'm telling you, man.
My issue with that, Carl, is though, City will never get any credit, even if they win the Champions League.
It doesn't matter. Just point to the trophy. When they start talking, just point to the trophy.
Because no, you know what it is, Gunda. I'm understanding what Martin's saying is because even if we do win it, what the argument is going to be say, like from Chelsea fans and some other fans here, you've only won once compared to us. We've got a Europa League and a Champions League.
Adam, and it again, just point to the trophy. Point to the trophy. Period.
Do you know the thing I love the most though? I can say right now we have more leagues than Chelsea. I'm not bothered about them saying we've got 2 Champions League, but we've more leagues. I love that fact that we have more leagues than them.
So do I. I mean, I like the fact. I just want the cherry on the cake. I want that cherry so bad, I'm willing to throw it with the cake.
Right.
The thing is, I think Haaland, I know people saying about, Haaland's not come to win the league, but Mbappe and Messi are at PSG just to win the league. But they're still sat happily there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to throw the toys out the pram and disappear. They're still there.
Maybe it's because when I look at the draws for the round of 16, there is a potential path. Because, again, PSG, Bayern Munich, one's going to go out, right? Real Madrid, Liverpool, one is going away. And if you get a lucky draw, all of a sudden, the path opens up.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my point then. You've looked yourself to the final by getting an easy draw. Because we've all done it to Liverpool last year. You got Villarreal, you got this. You didn't really get anyone to get to the final. And then when they hit someone in the final, they got beat. So, and this is, to me, and I've always said it, a marathon to me gives me more satisfaction than winning a sprint. To win a league over 38 games means you are the best. You can look yourself to a final of the Champions League. And a referee decision can knock you completely out and bang, you're gone.
I completely agree with you, Martin. I agree. I don't disagree with you. I agree with you, mate. I'm just saying that where we are right now, where the next leap, the next evolution of the club changes when you win that UCL completely.
Do you know when we'll win it, Carl? When we're not trying to win it.
I don't know about that.
If that makes sense.
I mean, Real Madrid were trying to win it, and they won it last year. I mean,
Chelsea didn't start out the season going, we want to win the Champions League, and they just landed on it.
Yeah, Real Madrid.
They just landed straight in it. Yeah, the Real Madrid are totally enriched. They're like Liverpool. Everything about them is the Champions League. That's why Liverpool fans don't give a toss about really. I mean, they do really. They'll tell you to the blue in the face they don't care about going 32 years and only winning 1 league title. They'll tell you that. Deep down, it hurts them. But as long as they've still got that 6 Champions League, that's keeping them alive.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that I prefer the UCL over. I'm saying that for this year.
Yeah, I think. Right? Yeah,
and it's a bump for this year.
I'm gonna throw this out there because I think. And obviously, rivals will never hear it, but when we talk amongst ourselves and we look at what's prevented us from winning at times, we just need to be completely honest. And I hear Carl's point with regards to where the emphasis should be. I think when it comes down to looking at the bodies that we have available, having our best possible 11, that is what's needed to win this Champions League. We're not going to win this Champions League when we have to make 2-3 alterations with regards to our best 11. The competition is too high quality for that. The opponents that we face in the late stages, it's too difficult for that. So I hear the priority that needs to be emphasized when we get to that latter stage within the Champions League to really get the result that we want. So a couple things need to happen. Security within the league to possibly make changes with a quote unquote lesser squad to have fresher bodies going to the Champions League is needed. To not have key injuries like unreplaceable tactically players that are tactically important because of whether it's strength, whether it's pace, whether it's knowledge, whether it's importance with regards to build-up play or just organization, barking out orders and commanding the team on the pitch. Those players need to be healthy when the time comes. And there's also a little bit of luck. But I want this Champions League very, very bad. I'm torn between this three-peat and the Champions League with regards to choosing it, and I wish if the schedules were different, and if I had a genie in a lamp, if the schedules could be different, where the Champions League is concluded before the league, my issues, my stresses would be over. But it's the other way around. I think we're going to have a battle for this league this year, and obviously whoever we face is going to be a battle in the Champions League.
The thing is, mate, do you know when Pep's at his worst?
When is he at his worst?
When he is trying to navigate himself around tournaments. When he is trying to play cute at times. And what I mean by that is, when he's sort of tinkering with teams or messing around, aka the Liverpool game, when he's trying to be too cute, he falls flat on his backside. And if you're trying to navigate, we'll drop that competition and play this team for that competition. That doesn't work for Pep. Do you know what works for Pep? What we're about to do. Every 3 days, game. Because Pep has no thinking time.
Fair.
Pep goes bang. Right, here we go.
Yeah. And
that's why when the top games are in, United, Tottenham, Chelsea, we come to the front of the queue.
Yeah.
Because then we're laser focused.
And I think Gundo and you would agree to this. When the games are so one after the other, and you then as a coach, as a manager, can say, listen, young player, male, female, doesn't matter. Listen, young player, I'm resting you because we have another game in 3 days. The pushback is easier to manage from a player that wants to play all the time because the games are so much more frequent. So I hear you. I think it's gonna be a fair.
I think it depends on the opponent as well, though. Because if you're resting him for the Tottenham and you're playing him against Fulham,
right,
that's when you get a better kickback.
Yeah, I agree that. I'm gonna, and again, I put it on screen for those of you that have been in the chat. For those of you watching on the rerun, you could do this yourself as well. Just check out Manchester City's fixture schedule. It's gonna lay out everything, whether it's regards to the league, Champions League, even the FA. All that's gonna be there, and we can kind of see. You can kind of have fun and try to figure out what Pep may do or what may happen. But obviously, a lot of it is contingent on players being healthy going into it. I'm going to remove this new one because I got Adam that joined with a different account. But I want to say this comment before I switch gears. Daniel goes, listen, at the end of the day, when we have a UCL semifinal and a Premier League game against Fulham in the same week, are you telling me you're prioritizing the Fulham game? Obviously, you play your strong team in the UCL. 100%.
Depends where you are in the league.
It depends where you are in the league to a certain degree. Because it's Fulham and you're going to look at their form and look at tactically where the challenges are, where the difficulties may be. But I would agree, Daniel. I would agree that Pep is probably looking to maybe even again
Oh,
going back to Carl's point. Maybe Pep's even looking to maybe start a quote unquote younger youth player and still have the opportunity to make one of our key starters only play 20 minutes. Just to shore things up or make sure that the rust isn't there between matches. Edison goes, I hate saying this, but I'm starting to lose my love for the game. What? Edison. Okay, sorry. This is an intervention. Edison, what do you mean by that? You're starting to lose your love for the game. What game? You lose the love for football, lose the love for your league, lose the love for your club. You're an AC Milan fan. Please explain this to me because there's no reason to fall out of love with the game. There's elements of the game that you may not like as much, but to fall out of love, you need to talk about that. Yes? Yeah, Martin?
mate, can I just come out? I mean, just Daniel's point there, and I get what you're saying, Daniel's saying. We got beat by Brentford in the last game.
Yeah.
So my point is, though, just because you're going, we're playing Fulham or we're playing this, no game's a gimme. If you are not there, you get beat.
Yeah, but you hear his point with regards to, even with regards to rotation, you may have to take a risk of not necessarily playing your absolute best 11, and you don't do that as a manager, as a coach yourself, because sometimes you have to give a player some rest. So I think he's just stressing that, Champions League or league match versus Fulham, a manager coach may choose to have the strongest 11 in that Champions League. I see the point. I see the point.
No, I see the point. We got beat. The thing is, I don't think any game in the Premier League's a gimme or an easy game where you can rest down. I think if you're 10 points clear, it's a different conversation, or 5 or 6 points clear. I think you got to remember we're 5 behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not suggesting 9 changes between our main 11 and a team that may be playing against Fulham, but I hear your point. Edison goes, it's starting to. Oh, he's saying it's too many matches. It's starting to be a cycle. Yeah, you know what, Edison, I hear that. You got to pick what you consume. Absolutely. Daniel goes, I can't live without football. We got a new. YSK goes, yo, Vader, good to see you. Good to see you too, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to switch topics real quick. I'm so glad to have this panel. We're a panel of 4, but to have Gundalorian, Pitch Points, tune in and subscribe to his channel right now. Right now, you can do this. I know you have multiple devices. You're watching the show. Thank you so much. On your other device, quickly do a YouTube search, Pitch Points, subscribe. Do the same thing for Mancunian Way. Search it, subscribe. And not on the show right now, but a great friend, part of my peeps, is True City Fan. Type in, just search on YouTube, True City Fan, football and chills. Look that up, subscribe. Just do it right off the jump. Get the notification. You're not gonna want to miss that content. And Adam is on Twitter. I'm gonna have, I believe I already have it in the description within this video, but subscribe to his new Twitter account. And Adam, you're gonna have to let me know. Actually, maybe type it in the general comments.
I also have good news. This main account as well also works, but I'm gonna keep this main account is also allowing me to start spaces now, but I'm gonna keep the secondary account just in case of a thing. But I'll comment the thing, both accounts. I'll do it just now for you.
Okay, fantastic. Briefly, and let me actually do this clean because it's been a minute. Vader game. I want to briefly but sincerely say I want to thank everyone for their messages, whether it's been through DM, through WhatsApp. I know I wasn't creating a lot of content over this World Cup break, but I had many of you and everyone on this panel that actually reached out and say, yo, Vader, is everything cool? How are things going? Everything's been fantastic, and the love that's been shown, it's appreciated. I admit I should have done a better job of just letting you guys know nothing's wrong. I'm just shutting things down with regards to the World Cup, but I will be back. But everyone that showed the love, it was greatly appreciated. It means a lot. When you're not doing something on the regular and people are noticing and want to make sure everything's okay. So I want to thank you all for that. And we're back. We're back with Why Always Me, and we're back with Vader Games TV. Content continues going. Now, my city peeps, we had worries. I had worries. Actually, you know what? The only person, and he does this often, but Gundalorian Carl was saying, yo, guys, relax, chill. Why are you thinking about the worst? But we were nervous with a lot of players heading off to the World Cup. How many kilometers would they have logged? How many minutes would they have played? And what kind of, would they have heavy legs coming back to City? I'm happy to say, if you guys have different reports, please let me know. But I'm happy to say that every City player that's left for the World Cup has come back healthy. Now, whether they're rested, that's a different story. But they've come back healthy. Have you guys, and I'll go to you, Carl, have you heard anything otherwise with some of the players that went over?
Everybody's fit and healthy.
Okay.
And just to explain why my argument was, again, go to the data. Data doesn't lie. The data doesn't lie. If you look at the number of matches that these players are playing and the time span that they're playing versus what they normally play at this time of the season, it's much less. They're playing one game a week against an international team that's slower in the World Cup. The weather is 75 degrees. It's nice. It's not as intense. It's literally a holiday with a game that they have to look forward to with their teammates. And after 3 games, right, many of them in the round of 16 went out.
Yeah.
So they played 4 games in 30 days? 4 games in 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
4 games in 30 days, and they're back. 4 in 30. Normally, these kids play in 30 days, they're playing 10?
Yeah.
12?
Yeah.
Right? In the cold, in 2 degrees or 3 degrees?
Yeah, in English or UK weather, yeah.
Correct. And you're playing against Liverpool, you're playing against United, you're playing the intensity of the relegation teams, you're playing the Champions League on top and the Carabao Cup on top. You're playing 3 games a week in that span of time, and they just play 4 in 30 days.
Mm.
The only person who went as far as Alvarez, he played 7 games he actually played 6.5 games in 30 days.
Yes, and he's had the longest season out of everyone that we were even thinking about going into the World Cup because of his season with River Plate, right? So, the joy of youth.
Also, I mean, to Martin's point, right? I mean, he didn't get a lot of game time with City, right? So he had a lot of coming on as a sub. That's the rest he's got.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask this of you, Martin. So everyone's healthy. We've kind of we've all looked, checking reports and making sure that we can hear any whispers, but the players come back healthy. I want to ask you this: why, or what may be the reason why Pep hasn't had everyone return back to the club? Because not everyone's reported back, right?
No, the England players are not back. Edison's not back. Ake, Laporte and Rodri arrived back today. We're back in training. Don't know why Kanji's not back. That's a strange one. Don't know why he's not back.
Yeah.
Apparently, City Extra, they said, I don't know how to City Extra said Akanji and Rodri are back, and Ake as well.
But, on the same thing, they've only announced Rodri, Laporte and Ake. So I don't know. I don't know about the others. De Bruyne's back because he played virtually 90 minutes on Saturday.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've still got Haaland, Mahrez, Gundogan's back. So it's just the England contingency and obviously Alvarez. Alvarez, I don't expect back for a week or 10 days because obviously he's over in Argentina celebrating at the moment.
Yeah, celebrating hard too. So it's good.
Yeah, Stones is fine. Apparently that's all good and fine. So yeah, maybe it's because we've got all the big teams in the next sort of 3, 4, 5 weeks. Maybe he's just giving them that little bit of rest. I don't know.
Okay.
It is a strange one. I did tweet that out the other day because everyone else's English contingent are back. There's only our English players not back.
Yeah,
Chelsea's were back last week. Liverpool's are already back. It's just our English contingent. So, but Pep did say he was going to give them all holidays. He was going to give them a break if they got through. So he's sticking to his word.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember hearing that as well, but I never thought that the break would lead into after um, the the League Cup match. But again, I think however he's planned it, it's going to make sense. This is going to be a intense season. To what all three of you have mentioned, these games are going to be coming quick and fast. So it's best to have these players rested, time with their family, because obviously they're going to be the holiday schedule is hectic in itself as well. So they get that family time early before the holidays. They get the battery in their back fully charged up, and they're good to go. Um, yeah, that's good. Let me
Vader, Vader, Vader game.
now let me say this. Oh, and I won't spend too much time because there was great coverage of this not only on Pitch Points but True City Fan as well as the Mancunian Way. And I didn't get a chance to touch on this, but I do want to talk about it. City and Pep 2025. I think it was fantastic business for this announcement to have happened during the World Cup. It wasn't a distraction. It was dealt with. All the questions around Pep or having to deal with it. It's no longer, well, I'm sure it's still going to come up, but not in the frequency that it would had it been during the season. I thought it was, again, excellent business from the club to have this announcement. I still have, that city love that, this contract could be extended even further, that 2025 could be 2027, but I'm going to accept it for what it is now. And I think it's such a great beacon and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's such a great beacon for players that have had fantastic World Cup performances, maybe looking to move. There's been, and later we're going to talk about this later, and I'll be cognizant of time, so please let me know if you guys have a hard cutoff. But I know that there's the potential of some players exiting, but the fact that Pep's going to be here till 2025, I think is going to be such an attractive thing to present to incoming players to know what to expect coming into City. Adam, were you shocked? Were you comforted? Were you this is what's happening? I knew this was going to happen when that announcement with regards to Pep happened. Oh, Adam, if you're talking, I can't hear you. And Gundalorian had to exit. So those of you that are listening, maybe not watching right now, Gundalorian had to bounce. But thank you so much for being on the show, my friend, and we'll connect soon, very soon. Martin, I'm gonna throw this to you. Obviously I consumed your content, so I kind of know, but I'll have you say it again for those that are watching right now. What the announcement with Pep's contract extension till 2025? How did things feel with you on that one?
Fabulous. Exactly what I thought was going to happen. It was. I kind of thought this was going to happen. Sign it in the World Cup. Been promised funds, so I guess we'll see. The journey continues with Pep. It's fantastic news. There's not a lot you can say other than being absolutely brilliant.
I agree. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna make this clear. My channel, those that have interacted with me, and I'm actually happy and proud to say this. People have always been respectful. Yeah, you get some of these bots that are promoting things that are kind of obviously questionable and not audience appropriate, and they get removed. But I've been so fortunate to have people interacting with the show and being respectful of myself and everyone on here. And if you are not, you are instantly blocked. So if you're going to continue with those type of comments, you're not welcome.
Just ignore Vader. I know who it is. Just ignore him.
Yeah. At the same time, I don't want that flooding the comments, so we can move on from that. Yeah, the announcement was huge. Loving it, and I think I think the whispers that we're hearing, and I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit and actually come back to the next one, but the whispers that we're hearing with regards to potential player exits, and I'm not gonna name any names. We'll do that at another time, and I'm not even gonna name names with regards to targets. But we know this past year with players like Alvarez, like Holland, like Phillips, like Ortega, when they're looking at projects, when they're looking at clubs, they're looking at, even if they want to just look at um, recent behavior, to look at City and see the managers locked up, the ambitions remain high, the level of play on the pitch is still of quality. From a project standpoint, it's going to be very attractive. Holland made it a point to say he is going to go to the club that presents to him the best project. And all the big heavy hitters, all the big dogs were after Holland. He chose City. With the whispers that we're hearing from some of the exits and some of the targets that have been talked about, this is a great project. And Pep being locked in until 2025 is huge. I'm excited with wherever it goes because I think we've put our best foot forward.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think you'll see that with the signings that'll come in next. Because there's no way he's signed without being promised money and big money as well.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be because I. And actually, let me put this up here. The numbers with regards to some of these targets, Martin, the numbers are insane. Like I know it's early, and shout out to Adam. I know he had the bounce. Thank you for being on the show, my friend. The numbers are just insane with what I'm seeing around, Enzo and Jude and Declan, and like they're crazy. They're wild. I think if players are going to be making the choice to pick the best projects, I think it'll be an interesting show down the road. Teaser, whether it's on mine, Mancunian Way, Pitch Points, True City Fan. Maybe it doesn't happen right now, but my last show I talked about. This is going back as far as it was. My last show I talked about the whole Pierce Morgan and CR7 and commercial versus winning mentality and attractive clubs and ownerships and things of that nature. If you missed it, go back. Yeah, I know it's an old video. Go back and watch it. Let me know what you think. I'll interact with the comments. But it's funny that there's potential ownership change with regards to Manchester United, potential ownership change with Liverpool. We obviously saw ownership change with Chelsea. How attractive those clubs are, what they're going to be priced at, how the change may happen, we'll have to see where it goes. But there's the which of those projects with all that's happening in the background is going to be attractive to a player. I would love to have the combo with my peeps, with all the city content creators, just the crew, and talk about.
Does that include us as well, Vader? Though?
Yeah, no.
Are you putting us in with
I'm
it being?
I'm gonna put us in, and I want us to be. I want us to be brutally honest. I want us to be like really like we've all done SWOT, right? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges, or threats. And we could do the pros and cons, right? The pros and cons to City, the pros and cons to Liverpool, the pros and cons to United. And I think we can kind of like list all that out, even with regards to Arsenal and Chelsea and things of that nature. But we can do the pros and cons, and I think it would be a great exercise to actually break that down, because the competition. And I'm going to keep it kind of broad, but the competition with regards to midfielders is key amongst many clubs. And I think it would be a great show to kind of talk about, one player choosing our club or a rival and what may be the reasons back and forth. So I hope to have that down the road. Before I sign off, and this has been an absolute amazing show. But before I do that, I want to make a point of saying this. If you haven't if you haven't done so, you're watching me live right now. Please subscribe to the Mancunian Way. Please subscribe to Pitch Points. Do the same to True City Fan. Find Adam. I put his comments into the general chat earlier. Please find him and subscribe to his Twitter account. But again, follow us all. We give our perspectives from many different angles and points of view, and it gives you such a broader broader understanding of how all of us as fans look at the sport. So please continue to show the love. They all took their time to jump on the show and be a part of this, and I'm very very appreciative and grateful for it. I want to ask Adam. Adam, do you have anything scheduled this
Yeah,
week?
I've got a space for the on Wednesday, and I've also got a space for the build up. But I would like to apologize to everybody. I feel like I somewhat owe you guys an apology because some people have been asking me, oh, what's up with you? You haven't been doing the spaces, so I somewhat owe you an apology. Like I apologize for that, but I'll be back on the spaces.
Awesome, awesome. So Wednesday, Adam's going to have a space as well as a build up on the Thursday, and who knows whether it's going to be Adam or Martin. I'm sure there's going to be a post match space. There's definitely going to be a post match stream. So make sure you follow Adam, and then Martin. Please shout out what you have going up for this week, and let the people know.
Well, we kick it all off tonight, 10 p.m. Manchester City versus Liverpool preview. And I am honoured to be joined by our very own Rich. And the man you see before you right now is going to come and grace us with his presence as well. And then we've got a little bit of post-match Thursday evening because I will be at the game. But what I'm doing at the minute, I'm putting up a few more YouTube shorts just to sort of a little bit of like preview, like before the game, after the game.
Yeah, the short
what's
vlogs.
coming up.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Putting them up just to sort of whet everyone's appetite, and then we'll see how they go. But yeah, we're building it slowly,
Nice.
despite the hate.
Yeah, haters are always out there. Haters are always out there. I'm gonna say this. Whether there's gonna be a bonus show, I can't promise that. I did talk about this earlier with when Edison was in the comments. The whole Vader Games was actually built because I was playing within, I kid you not, a FIFA league, and I had a good group of guys that we played often, and I made an account with regards to that. The guys are looking to get back together on the 23rd. I'm not sure of the timing, but I'm gonna make sure that I do stream. It might most likely will be on Twitch, not on YouTube. But if you want to hear some of the jokes and the back and forth and banter that tends to happen, that will be happening on the 23rd. And look out for me. I'll make sure to tweet this or retweet. I'm going to be on Martin's show tonight. I'm going to be on future content within the week, and maybe if the topic is right, I might have a bonus show. But I'll make sure that you guys are all aware of. I want to thank each and every one of you that interacted within the comments, from Edison to Danny, from Daniel to YSK to FIFA player. Shoot, I don't want to. Edison, I mentioned, and if I didn't say your name, my apologies. You guys were all fantastic, and thank you so much. Mancunian
Can
Way.
I just say
Yeah,
one last thing before you
Of
jump,
course.
mate?
of course.
If you aren't subscribed to this legend, please go and give this guy a subscribe. Give him a thumbs up because he does deserve it, you know. So does Pitch Points, True City Fan. Adam, go and follow him on Twitter. Does great spaces, as do all City content creators. But also, you just reminded me there, Vader. After Christmas, in the new year, we're going to be starting something new in our channel. We're going to start FIFA on our channel. You're going to
Get
get
out
to
of
see me
here.
FIFA. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Starting wait, over Christmas or in the new year? Sorry,
In the new year,
in the new year. Okay.
yeah, I'm going to be starting FIFA career streams.
Okay. All right. So you heard it here. Oh, maybe not, but you've heard it here. Definitely make sure you're subscribed to all. I want to thank you guys all again. And Vader Games TV, Why Always Me, episode 59. There may be an episode 60 before the Christmas holiday. If not, I'm going to do my absolute best to provide content over the holiday break because there are going to be so many games, and I want to share my perspective. I want to diary how I'm consuming this football life. So, thank you all for tuning in. I'm Vader Games. You heard from Martin as well as Adam and Carl. Subscribe to us all and catch me on the next show. I'm out. Thank you. Love.